What's this supposed to be, a pink version of Bumblebee? What is Laserbeak? I thought he was a bird. What part of this looks like a bird? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at a studio figure this month. This is the core class version of Laserbeak from his appearance in Dark of the Moon. Now, of course, for those of you who may not have seen Dark of the Moon or don't remember it as well, just like Larry over there, this is a form Laserbeak took during his mission to begin assassinating many of the human collaborators. So, Laserbeak took on the form of a child's toy that was done up to look like Bumblebee. Because even the box itself here on the backside lists it as an official licensed product of General Motors. And the car mode is intended to look like a Camaro. Oh, Corvette, they got it as the Corvette Camaro, but still. So it is a licensed product. Of course, as we all have known, General Motors has been a big supporter of the Transformer film franchise. Mainly because they want to push this car. Even though a good portion of us Transformer fans probably can't afford one. We'll move Laserbeak aside, and this will show off his backdrop as one of his more memorable scenes in the movie. For a child's tea party. Since Laserbeak did crash that party to kill one of the human collaborators. But of course, shortly into that scene, he also reverted back to the bird mode that we were all so familiar with. But since this figure does resemble Bumblebee quite a lot, it does give the notion that maybe at some point in the future there will be a core class Bumblebee. I mean, you might as well do it, Hasbro. We already know how cheap you are. All you got to do is mold this toy in yellow, and you got Bumblebee. So, just go ahead and do it. I mean, even the box art. You take a good look at the box art here. You know, not only does this resemble Bumblebee, but take a good look there on the head. You can see there on the head, it still does clearly have the Autobot insignia. So, I mean, some sources say that the toy has it too, and you'd have to look real close to his head, but you can see it. Especially if he's going to do an extreme close-up. Get back here. Get back. This ain't Wayne's World. You ain't getting that close to the camera. Alright, at any rate, let's take a look at Laserbeak's accessory. And he just comes with this gun. Which kind of looks like the gun that Bumblebee used. So that further brings about the notion that they will do a studio version of him. There it went. In this size. Of course, the big thing to tell that it is the fact that the pegs here at the bottom will match the color of the car. Now, at any rate, let's take a look at Laserbeak's articulation, and his is okay for a figure of his size. His head can be turned from side to side, and it's hinged in there, so it will rock up and down a bit. His arms can go out about so far from the shoulder, and they will rotate at the shoulder all the way, but of course the car door gets in the way, as does the hood of the car, as you just noticed there. Anytime you try to manipulate Laserbeak's arms beyond a certain point, it will pop the chest free, so do be aware of that. You can bend his arm at the elbow 90 degrees, and since the arm is on a ball joint like that, he does have G.I. Joe style battle grip. Laserbeak cannot twist at the hips due to the fact that his hips are a solid piece. You can spread his legs apart into almost a full splits. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend him at the knee just about 90 degrees. So, all in all, he has a fair amount of articulation. It's just a little bit less than what you'd find on your standard figure. Alright, to transform Laserbeak, first thing we do is we move his legs forward a bit so they kind of stay out of the way of things. Then his back plate here, they say it adjusts. There it goes. We got to work it loose a little. We kind of fold it back a bit to give us a little bit of room to work. Then you'll take Laserbeak's chest piece and we're going to pop it up and over his head like so. Now his head can then be folded down into this chest cavity. And then now we'll come down here to his legs that we've got shifted and adjust the side that has the wheels. So that we can get them adjusted. If you will let me. Hold on a second. Okay, you get them so that they fold outward on the edge of the knees. If need be, you get the legs fully straight, and then they should bend outward a little bit, like so. Now, of course, once you've done that, they want you to fold the feet inwards, like so. Then you can refold the legs down and get them to snap like so against the feet, so that they start to take the shape of the rear of the car. Now, of course, once you've done that, they want you to adjust the chest and the roof of the car so that they connect together like so. Then you're going to come down here to the legs. Put the legs together and then gently shift them upwards so that they will also connect to the roof of the car. Of course, you got to make sure that the fittings and foldings are properly aligned. There we go. Now it's catching the right way. Now, once we've done that, come here and adjust his arms so that they're reaching up to the hood of the car. Then you can rotate them at the shoulder so it brings the front wheels out and brings the arms inside. Your arm fell off. Excuse me. Okay, the arm just popped right back in there, so we're good. Thankfully, it did reattach pretty well. Now, I want you to adjust the hands so that way they are in this position right here. Thankfully, they already were. And then you will fold his arms down and tuck them in the areas next to the chest cavity where his head is. But don't tuck them in too deep, because you're also going to close the doors in the process. The groove in his hand should help in holding the doors and keeping the doors closed. Sometimes it might be easier, close the door first, then bring the arms down so that you can still manipulate them by the elbow. Or at the very least, if they won't do that, get them so they fold totally inwards beyond it. And then close up the doors. And then there you have it. Laserbeak is now in his Camaro mode. See, even has the Chevy insignia right on the front grille. He does roll pretty good. Gotta keep him in center though, otherwise the camera loses focus. And then of course he's also got a square hole on the roof of the car. That's meant for you to attach the gun, so that he can go blasting Autobots as he goes running away. So now we get to my thoughts. What do I think of this version of Laserbeak? Well, it's alright, especially if you want to set up that scene. Unfortunately, we don't have any little people that he can look like he's intimidating in this size. Because we already did get a version of Laserbeak from Dark of the Moon. He came with Soundwave. So, this seems somewhat unnecessary, but if you're a fan of Laserbeak, or you don't mind small Transformers, then he's not an expensive purchase to find. At the time when I picked him up, he seemed to be more of a shelf warmer, because there was a lot of him on the shelf, but very few of Rumble, who we just reviewed the other week. They both were released at the same time. They came out just before the holiday season, so I was able to pick them up relatively quickly. But there was like close to a dozen Laserbeaks on the shelf, but only one Rumble, so it kind of tells me which one the fans wanted the most out of this wave. At any rate, that's my review of the studio version of Laserbeak from Dark of the Moon. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, please do remember that if you like the content we feature here on this channel, please do remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.